When he was 8 years old, his mother was brutally murdered, her lifeless body abandoned in an Albuquerque gravel pit by an unidentified killer. Haunted by her memory, he later sought relief in drugs and the sport of boxing. Battling the voices in his head, each opponent in the ring became a reflection of his mother's killer, the sound of the bell igniting the rage pent up inside. Born in 1942, Virginia Tapia was the eldest of 12 children, spending her formative years in the coal mining camps of Colorado before her family eventually settled in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She left high school early in order to marry Manuel Garcia, but the marriage ended in divorce and resulted in Virginia losing custody of the 2 children from this union. She began dating again and became pregnant after a one-night stand. On February 13, 1967, she gave birth to Johnny Lee Tapia. Virginia chose not to disclose the identity of Johnny's father, a decision that has remained a mystery to her family. Subsequently, Virginia married Alcario Gallegos, an alcoholic who struggled with heroin addiction. Their relationship was tumultuous, marked by frequent arguments, and eventually ended when Gallegos was incarcerated. Following the dissolution of another marriage, Virginia found an apartment with her sister, Mary Helen. She supported herself and Johnny through various odd jobs, mainly office cleaning, but she never secured stable employment. Despite facing numerous challenges, Virginia's resilient spirit remained unbroken, and she treated Johnny with gifts whenever she was able. She would always take me to church and to go shopping, Tapia said. She had this big Riviera, I remember. She spoiled me, man. It was a hot Friday night on May 23, 1975, when the 32-year-old Virginia and a girlfriend went out to a honky-tonk bar called the Cow Palace. Her sister, Mary Helen, stayed home and watched over Johnny. Later that evening, Virginia lent her car to a friend who was leaving to follow someone home. Virginia stayed at the bar, waiting for her car to be returned, but her friend was picked up for a DWI, leaving Virginia stranded without a ride home. At some point in the early morning hours, Virginia accepted a ride from someone at the bar. She never made it home. Around 9 a.m. the following Saturday, the owner of a gravel pit stumbled upon Virginia laying face down in the rubble. A blood trail stretched over 100 yards behind her, evidence of her desperate attempt to seek help. Her once white blouse was saturated with blood. She had been stabbed in the chest, arms, shoulders, and back a total of 33 times, wounds believed to be inflicted with a pair of scissors, according to medical examiners. Incoherent when found, Virginia was unconscious by the time she reached the hospital. She died shortly after being placed on a life support machine. Johnny moved in with his grandparents, his bedroom now reduced to a sleeping bag on the floor. The lone reminder of his mother was a portrait on the wall. His questions were relentless. What happened to my mom? Why didn't they get the guys who killed her? We always knew when Johnny was thinking of his mom, his grandmother Esther said. He would cry so easily, and then he would go crazy. Tapia's childhood now consisted of lowriders, battered pickups, and street gangs. His uncles, seeking to toughen him up, orchestrated fights with older children. A victory earned Johnny a meager reward of $1, while defeat resulted in a harsh beating. As Johnny grew older, he began hanging with the wrong crowd, a gang called the Wells Park Locos. His grandfather Miguel put his foot down, warning Johnny, "If you hang around with bad people, you could get stabbed." Tapia's grandfather Miguel spent his life working as a coal miner, road laborer, and janitor. He also boxed in the civilian conservation camps. Miguel decided to teach Johnny how to box in the backyard. He filled an army duffel bag with dirt and hung it from an elm tree. "Keep your guard up," Miguel said while instructing Johnny to hit the makeshift heavy bag. "Show no fear." His grandfather soon learned that Johnny had a natural aptitude for the sport, but had little patience as he wanted to hang out with his friends. Johnny made his way into the Wells Park Community Center, where he began formal training under boxing coach Henry Anaya Sr. Tapia began winning trophy after trophy, including 2 National Golden Gloves titles. But his inability to focus remained. He'd come to the gym and shadowbox for a few minutes, then leave, Anaya said. Tapia then bounced from different gyms and trainers like Danny Romero Sr. and Beto Martinez before veteran Albuquerque trainer and manager Paul Chavez agreed to take him on. But after Tapia lost an amateur fight by disqualification, Chavez noted that Tapia needed to control his anger. "You'll never really be good," Chavez warned Johnny, "if you're always losing your cool." Tapia turned pro in March of 1988, beginning with a draw in his debut match before embarking on an impressive win streak.
And another left-right by Tapia. And Ireland down.
Into the fight. Referee got to stop that.
And that should just about do it.
Yes, it was. Both of the fighters were tough fighters, but I didn't know nothing about this guy. I know he has a lot of years experience, but like I told my trainer, I'm going to go get him. That's what I'm going to do to all my fighters. I will promise my grandma a champion. I'm going to get it for, if I have to bang or I have to box, I got to do something. So I feel good and everything. So thank God I'm home, away from home. I love it here.
How you like Fresno? They're treating you pretty good out here. You become like a second son to Fresno.
I'm in other words, I'm first class everything. So I love it here. I might just live here. I don't want to go back. Everybody loves me here. I'm going to stay here.
Are you going to come back to Albuquerque or are you going to go to Fresno?
I got to stay here, but I'm going to come back here. I got to go back to Albuquerque tomorrow. See my family. I've been away for a while. Come right back and do another appearance. I hurt my knuckle in his head, but I'll be all right by next week.
Johnny, you're still undefeated. Where's your career go from now? Who are you going to fight next?
I don't know. Whatever my trainer says, I'll do it.
Despite his success, his lack of discipline persisted. He would often cruise around town in his 1964 Thunderbird, making pit stops for a Big Gulp and Snickers before seeking out girls or parties. This lack of focus on his boxing career nearly proved costly in March of 1989 when he had a close call against Freddie Hernandez.
The Huffer was tough, though. Standing 8 count, Stan was back on his feet.
Yeah, we've been hit with bigger chairs than they have in Mexicali.
Johnny Tapia with a tattoo on his chest. 2-time national amateur champion. 1983 and 1985. At 106, 112 pounds, he was the best in the country. Hernandez not throwing too many jabs. Tapia leading with that hook. Good body shot counter by Hernandez.
Boy, Hernandez lightning quick on the counters.
Lightning quick, and his punches hurt, Phil, because as I mentioned earlier, he's a natural featherweight, 126 pounds. I know when I moved up from 139 to 147, Ernie Chavez, who fought here on the Marriott card, dusted me in 2 rounds in Las Vegas. So I know that 4 or 5 pound weight disadvantage is too much. Good body shot by Tapia. Right hand followed the jab.
We'll be talking more about that this evening.
The war. Promoted on closed circuit television in Southern California. Good left hook by Hernandez. Tapia grabs a little bit. That might have been the hardest Johnny Tapia has been hit in a long time. He got hit by one shot on the neck. There's still a bruise on his neck. It looks like a monkey bite or a hickey, but that one left hook put a big bruise on the neck of Johnny Tapia. Good exchange by both fighters.
Get the feeling as this fight winds down here at the end of round 2 that this could come down to a fight where the best counter fighter may prevail.
Johnny Tapia's got too good of a jab and a strong right hand. Ooh, good shot by Hernandez. Tapia looked a little hurt there. Johnny Tapia abandoning his defense there. He was getting hit with shots. He just decided to go for it, and he got hit some more. Both fighters lunging, throwing a lot of wild blows. Hernandez, I think Hernandez's confidence is starting to build a little bit, Steve, without a doubt.
By Tapia.
Former 2-time national amateur champion. Tough guy.
Looking at his face from round 1 till now, you can see the confidence begin to wane just a little as a look of concern comes over his eyes.
I've seen Johnny Tapia fight.
Tapia's, his 8-0-1 record is on the line against a very, very difficult super bantamweight, Freddie Hernandez.
Without a doubt, I think the fight's even at this point after 4 rounds. It's a good fight so far. It's a good test for Johnny Tapia. Johnny Tapia needs tests like this. He's been whacking people out in 1 or 2 rounds real quick. So he needs this. He needs to go 8. I didn't think he would, but he needs it.
Now, Tapia has got to begin demonstrating that explosiveness we have seen in his previous fights.
Johnny Tapia, I think there's a fault in him, Phil. He's too flat-footed. Doesn't get up on his toes enough.
Absolutely no movement at all from either one of these fighters.
Good exchange.
Hernandez right in front of Tapia.
I think Tapia's hurt a little bit. Johnny Tapia cannot afford to stand and slug with him.
But Tapia doesn't believe that.
No.
And that's the problem.
See, here's the thing. If it turns into a war of attrition, usually the bigger man wins because he has a strength factor on his side. As we use to judge a professional fight are effective aggressiveness, effective punching, ring generalship, and defense. And except for a little lagging on the defense, I think Mr. Hernandez is in control of this fight. And no, he's not related to my former broadcast partner, Tony Hernandez.
Or Enzo Hernandez.
Good body shots by Hernandez. Beautiful body shots. I think they should tell him, you've got to go out there and knock Mr. Hernandez out to win. I think that's his big shot. I think he's behind by 3 points. We're an 8-round one.
But how do you do that? He's been unable to do it in the first 7 rounds.
Well, he was, in the first round, he was landing beautifully. He was setting it up with the jab, landing beautiful right hands and left hip leads. He's got to go back to using that jab. It might be too late now.
And, of course, for Freddie Hernandez, he was on the short end of the string, rounds 1 and 2, and since that time, but boy, has he lit the afterburners.
Without a doubt, he's in control here. He's got to feel it.
It began with a stinging right hand back in round 3, and from that time on, Hernandez really has been fearless.
Yeah, he's owned Johnny Tapia for the most part of this fight. Last round of a great fight. Johnny Tapia.
Tapia angry now here in the 8th and final round, and he and Hernandez are going to go to war.
They're going at it. Johnny Tapia likes showboating. Look at him. Trying to pump this crowd up, trying to pump the crowd up behind him. Johnny Tapia holding and hitting. Johnny Tapia
working this crowd.
Sing.
And I don't know what Kenny Davis, the referee, is doing, breaking these fighters up.
They've got a fight on the inside. Tapia looked a little bothered there by a right hand. Tapia just winging, but he's catching the shot. They're right above us. Personally, I think it's getting a little rough here. Referee Mr. Davis, he's lost control of this fight. Good left hook by Hernandez. Good another left hook by Hernandez. Tapia, good jab by Hernandez.
Final 30 seconds of this fight. Oh, Tapia and Hernandez. What a war. Seconds left. Oh, Hernandez goes down. Oh, my.
Did the referee stop the fight?
No, he did not stop the fight.
He stopped it. The referee stopped it. In California, you can be saved by the final bell. And I believe the referee signaled the fight was over after the bell rang. If he did, I think that's a boot, another boot on the referee's part.
I thought the rule was you could not be saved except for the bell in the final round. Wait a minute.
And that was the final bell.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hernandez was saved by the bell. The bout goes to the scorecards. Judge Pat scores it 77-74. Judge Lou Barrett scores it 76-75. Judge Robert Byrd scores it 76-75. The winner by unanimous decision, Johnny Tapia.
Despite emerging victorious, Tapia found himself drawn back to the same troublesome circle of friends. With a bandana wrapped around his head, a Pendleton shirt adorning his back, tattoos etched across his chest, and trouble brewing in his heart, Johnny earned the nickname of Lil Loco. His descent continued as he made the fateful error of allowing one of his friends to stash cocaine in his apartment. There is an old Hispanic saying, Tapia said, "Live with wolves and you learn how to howl." While Tapia continued to win inside the ring, his struggles with substance abuse intensified outside of it. Following his victory over Santiago Caballero, he tested positive for cocaine. Tapia promised that it was a one-time incident, never to recur. However, over the next 18 months, he failed 4 more drug tests. Consequently, his boxing license was suspended, derailing his fast track to stardom. It was during this time he met the attractive, but no-nonsense, Teresa Chavez. Tapia convinced the quiet girl to say, "I do," but their wedding reception degenerated into a beer-soaked brawl. Tapia was later found unconscious outside a fire station where he was transported to the hospital. Over the course of the next 3 years, Tapia was arrested several times and jailed for 45 days for repeated DWIs. Teresa left him in August of 1993 after one of these arrests, but came back to him upon his release when he tested negative for drugs. "She replaced my drugs," Johnny said. "She's the one habit I've never tried to shake." After enduring relapses and more ugly fights at home, Tapia made his return to the ring in March of 1994, marking a comeback after a hiatus of 3.5 years. Tapia was now deep in debt to the IRS, but a childhood friend named Joe Maloof helped him pay back his back taxes, as the fighter was paid meager amounts for his comeback bouts. Tapia made up for lost time quickly, fighting once a month before meeting Henry Martinez on ESPN for the vacant WBO Super Flyweight title.
Because the ref has to make a judgment call.
All right, we head into round 1. The stare down was intense. Johnny Tapia with a big hug to his manager trainer Paul Chavez, a man who stuck by him during the tough times. And hey, guess what? They're doing just what they said, going right at it. This might be a significant figure the way they're fighting, the knockout ratio. Very similar. But Dave, since Johnny Tapia came back from that almost 4-year layoff, he's a different fighter. He's a banger now. Look at him laying the right hand to Henry Martinez. He wants knockout every time he's out there now.
He's been fighting with anger, which he says he directs against himself. On one of our top rank boxing telecasts back in May, we saw the stylist in him, but that was a diversion. He likes to go inside.
He is wailing away. Martinez landing some right hands. A big right by Martinez.
Yeah, there's a lot of opening here for some early fireworks because they're both shooting from the side, and the middle is wide open for both fighters.
There's the left hook of Tapia, which is a big weapon for him. Now, Henry Martinez has gotten there with that right hand a couple times, but I think most people in boxing feel Tapia has a superb chin.
A superb chin and a good reach from the outside. Martinez is counting on Tapia staying right in front of him, and so far Johnny Tapia is obliging.
Boy, Tapia stopped as if to warn Martinez, and now look at Tapia. He is hot. Martinez just hit him, and Martinez can do that.
The crowd thinks this is very good for Johnny Tapia, but it's not. He's allowing himself to get unraveled here.
And he's getting nailed with right hands by Martinez.
Johnny Tapia was hit with a low blow for a reason.
Well, it's been wild here in round 1. There's Tapia landing the left hook to the body. Every time he starts to throw that, though, there's a right hand for Martinez over the top.
Well, for Tapia in the last week, he has not been able to sleep. He's been thinking about this fight. It's been consuming him. So you know the first round he's going to come out and be totally wild.
Big left hook by Tapia. Doesn't move Martinez back. And Henry Martinez has served notice here in this first round. He's not awed by the crowd. And he's not awed by Johnny Tapia's punching power, which has been overpowering for a lot of fighters in the last 5 or 6 fights. It's wild. Don't go anywhere, because this one could be one of the best brawls we've had here on ESPN in a long time. Stay with us.
Yeah, if he's voluntarily relinquishing it, we'll see if he goes back to it.
Boy, Martinez can't miss with that right hand. He may have stunned Johnny Tapia. Tapia talking to him now. But it's Martinez Martinez, who is composed and getting the job done right now.
Tapia has used his anger and his motivation to intimidate other opponents, but in this case, he's in against a better fighter.
I think he hurt Martinez with the left hook to the body and the head, and now they are fighting on every break. Tapia giving the referee a lecture on low blows. The referee is having none of it.
Now you cannot fight and referee at the same time, and a nice right hand by Martinez.
Well, it's wild here in round 2, halfway through the round. Tapia boxing a little bit more.
And what people realize when you watch a fight like this, it's one thing to say it's bombs away, but there's a lot of subtlety by both guys in setting up these shots. These are not just bombs. You're seeing hip movement, you're seeing head movement to set up the bombs.
Here's the jab of Tapia getting in. Martinez, though, excellent overhand right. Dennis Nelson, the referee, not performing according to Tapia's liking. Good right by Tapia. They are both landing huge shots. Like that one. Half a minute left in round 2. But for Tapia, really, it's that left hook that might be his best weapon.
These look like two chins with a long warranty.
They better have. There's the hook by Tapia and the right. Seconds remaining here in round 2. It doesn't get too much better than this if you like boxing. We'll be back for round 3. We head into round 3 that's scheduled for 12. It's for the WBO Super Flyweight Championship. Henry Martinez in the white and blue trunks, and Johnny Tapia in the black with the blue stripe. It is a vacant title they're fighting for, and fighting is the operative word. Look at those numbers through round 2.
Very tight. They've each had a good round in this contest, and they have raised their intensity level up to the championship level.
And Tapia is whacking away with that left hook. He now has a beat on Martinez for the first time with that hook, and he's hurt him.
A tremendous right hand behind it, too.
Strong jab by Tapia. Is Martinez hurt? The crowd thinks so.
And Tapia tried to set up the left hook to the body again there. He moved to the right, but Martinez got away. And it's closer to land the big left hook.
We move into round 4. Johnny Tapia in the black trunks, Henry Martinez in the white and blue. And Tapia takes out a little of his frustration, hitting on the break. And, oh my, big right by Tapia, hurts Martinez.
Martinez should try to stop frustrating Tapia. He's only getting him more focused now.
This crowd is on fire as Johnny Tapia tells them, yeah, I'm getting it done.
Then he whips them into a frenzy in case they had forgotten where they were.
Well, he better make sure he fights instead of cheerleads.
But these are part of the idiosyncrasies that make up Tapia. It's all part of his persona.
Big left hook by Tapia. As Dennis Nelson does his best job as usual to get in the way of the action. And he's doing a good job of that so far. The crowd chants Johnny Tapia's name. They'd like him to go in for the kill.
Because he knows that's his only chance to win this fight on the inside.
Couple of right hands get there by Tapia as well as left hooks. Martinez working on the inside, and again the hooks from Tapia. Good jab there by Martinez and countered by Tapia.
I'm a little surprised still to see Tapia willing to be so close to Martinez here. If he steps back a bit, he'll get the range for that left hook to the body and get his jab moving.
And maybe a mental note to make here, the amount of body punches that Martinez is landing, this could have an impact.
They'll show up in the 9th or 10th rounds if they've been as effective as they look.
And Tapia landing some great shots to the body and those counter right hands as well. I'll tell you, Henry Martinez has shown us an outstanding chin in this fight. He has taken some big shots from Tapia in his boxing life, and 10 since his comeback started in 1994.
And that will not bode well for Martinez if this fight goes a long distance, because if he's in virgin territory trying to make up points, it will be very difficult.
And you have Tapia ahead by 2 points so far in this bout.
And looking pretty consistent so far. Good looks on the outside. Good success on the inside with his left hook to the body.
You get the feeling Martinez is slowing just a bit here in the 7th round. We're halfway through the round.
Well, he's approaching his limit here. Another round and a half, and he will match his career high as far as rounds.
Nice move by Tapia as a lefty. And now he switches back.
Well, now he'll try to do some frustrating of Martinez, show some different looks, show him the southpaw style, if only for a second. He doesn't really need to do that, but he's feeling confident with everything he's throwing.
And a moment ago, Martinez missed an overhand right, a punch he had been landing consistently.
Shows that he's getting a little bit tired and a bit slower coming over the top.
Under a minute left to go in round 7. It's scheduled for 12. It has been action-packed. There's Tapia with a combination.
You know, if you're just a little bit tired and you launch your punch for maybe 2 to 3 inches difference, that can make it miss. It's so small of a difference between hitting the punch and missing it when you get a little bit tired.
And I think both men are a little fatigued right now. They have fought at an absurd pace. A few seconds remain here in round 7. This was a close one. And Martinez punctuates his part of it with a good right hand. We'll be back. And they have been treated to some great boxing.
You like to see Tapia going downstairs as he just did with a double left hook, being focused, turning into his punches just as well as he did in the first round, and Martinez trying to cut him off and do damage on the inside.
Missing a little bit more now, though, Dave, and the fatigue is a part of it. There's the good right, though, by Tapia.
What you're going to see is both fighters now missing more, but trying to load up and land the one telling shot in each round, the ones that will impress the judges. At some point in these fights, technique gives way to sheer determination, and we're coming close to that point.
I think we may be there. Good jab by Tapia. They both wail away here in round 8. It is not as pretty as it was earlier. The technique is going, but the will and the heart is still there.
It is all guts right now. No backward step by design. The only way you move back is to be driven back.
Both men starting to establish their jab again.
That would be the ideal fight for Tapia if he can maintain it. His movement has been a little better than Martinez throughout this fight. He's using more of the floor.
A close round in the 8th. Martinez is where he wants to be on the inside, but it's Tapia who takes advantage of it. And a big left hook to the body by Tapia. You saw it there.
There's the advantage of reach. He can land what amounts to be a fall-away left hook and not get hit by a counter.
An excellent round 8, a close one, and it ends as it began with both men wailing away. Good left hook by Tapia. He'll be back. I hope you will.
There was so much opportunity there. When Tapia dips down to throw his left hook, for a split second, the right hand of Martinez is right there if he can simply time it.
Well, the other champions in this super flyweight or junior bantamweight division, Lee Hyung-chul has the WBA title, WBC title by Hiroshi Kawashima, and Harold Gray has the IBF title in this weight division. Which always leads me to ask, how many worlds are there? They're all world champions. Good left hook by Tapia underneath. A half a minute left to go in round 9, and Dave, this has been an excellent round for Tapia.
Able to switch styles, do it effectively, go on the outside. He has shown more looks in this round than in any other round of the fight. He's really given a complete guide to what he's all about technically in this round.
And now Henry Martinez has seen a 9th round, and so far, he doesn't like it. We'll be back. Stay with us. in between rounds, looked at Paul Chavez, his manager and trainer, and said, "I'm the champion." And Paul Chavez says, "I know you are." Well, they've got 3 more rounds to go for him to prove it, but they believe he can do it.
Well, you talk about the fragile psychological state of a guy in a title fight. Tapia, big round 9 there, a 2-to-1 edge. He is in a zone, he knows it, he feels it, and it's making him a better fighter throughout this contest.
And now let's talk about Henry Martinez. This is a place he's never been, Dave. What can he do, do you think, to try and get himself psyched to come back in this fight?
Well, he can figure that anything can happen in a title fight. Nothing is etched in stone. Adrenaline can carry him, but he must get on the inside and do his best work.
And Johnny Tapia gets this crowd wild again. You've got him leading by 3 points.
And this crowd makes Johnny Tapia a better fighter.
Is the adrenaline flowing in Johnny Tapia? I guess so. My goodness.
It's flowing like molten lava here.
He may be a little out of control, but as Dave has said, that's when Johnny Tapia does the best. Oh, big uppercut by Tapia.
Whatever mistakes he might make by being too psyched up are more than compensated for his intensity.
Johnny Tapia treats a boxing match like it's a rock concert, and that's the way this crowd is treating it.
And right now, they're cheering his hit songs.
Big uppercut by Tapia. Excellent left hook, and Henry Martinez wading in but taking punishment in the process.
Steam coming out of Martinez's shots here, as you would expect now, as he goes into that uncharted territory.
He's hurt by the left hook. The left hook hurt Martinez with 42 seconds left to go. Can Tapia put him down? Big uppercut underneath by Tapia. Martinez was stunned by the left hook. Another one by Tapia. Boy, Henry Martinez fighting his way through this.
Slower reaction time. It gets tougher and tougher for him.
Tapia wails away with combinations.
Now he can smell this title.
They'll remember this night in Albuquerque boxing for a long time.
Tapia has too much.
It is high drama here in Albuquerque as we head into round 11. This feels like a tent revival. In round 10, you see the numbers. Johnny Tapia having his way.
And not throwing as many punches in other rounds, but his accuracy goes up. And one reason is that there is so much more of Martinez to hit. His arms are down, he's exposed more, and shots that were caught before are getting in now.
They are going for the WBA Super Flyweight Championship. Johnny Tapia in the black trunks is now widening his gap, we believe, against Henry Martinez, and he is going after him. Martinez is hurt.
And from Martinez's perspective, Johnny Tapia is the wrong guy to get excited.
He just barely beats the count. It is over.
They had to do that.
Johnny Tapia has made it all the way back.
And what a way to do it.
The victory paved the way for an anticipated showdown between Tapia and another rising star on the New Mexico boxing scene, Danny Romero. With each passing fight, anticipation and buzz surrounding a potential clash between the two fighters escalated, but domestic problems delayed the fight as Tapia was arrested for allegedly hitting Teresa with a pistol. Teresa spoke up loudly for Tapia during his trial, requesting that the fighter be given probation, and the judge granted it. The story got turned around that Johnny pulled a gun on me, Teresa said. That's not what happened, but he pleaded guilty because he didn't trust the system. Tapia was later arrested with drug paraphernalia in his car, his third offense. In exchange for not being incarcerated, he was banned from the state of New Mexico for 2 years. Oscar de la Hoya invited Tapia to train and live at his camp in Big Bear, California. The Tapias accepted, but trainer Paul Chavez refused to leave New Mexico. Teresa then became Tapia's manager, ousting Paul Chavez as trainer, who then sued the couple for breach of contract. Tapia then had a revolving door of trainers such as Robert Alcazar, Larry Goosen, Miguel Diaz, George Chuvalo, Willie Boschert, Dub Huntley, and Jesse Reed. Johnny's a self-taught fighter, Romero Sr. said. I can't take credit for him. Paul Chavez can't, not even Anaya, who was his original amateur coach. Basically, Johnny trains himself. He always has. Teresa, meanwhile, negotiated a deal with promoter Bob Arum, getting a higher percentage of the gate than Tapia ever received before. The fight with crosstown rival Danny Romero was finally made as the two met in July of 1997 in a highly anticipated fight to be telecast by HBO.
Round one begins. They waited years. Tapia loves to start fast. Romero will want to establish his technical superiority and his punching power early on. Tapia wants to lure Romero into a war. Tapia to the body and the crowd goes wild. Good right hand inside by Johnny Tapia. And he ties up Romero as Danny steps in.
Step back. Come on, let's go. This guy is sizing him up for something big. Romero is sizing him up.
This tells you something about youth boxing in Albuquerque. Look at how well schooled both fighters are.
Both have excellent left jab. That was a left hand, left right combination by Romero.
By Danny Romero. Best combination of this round for Romero. Tapia again digging the left hook to the body. Continuing to counter inside as Romero comes at him. Romero trying to block that Tapia left hook with his right elbow, and Johnny nods for the crowd.
Believe me, he's playing with fire here. He better win and be serious about it.
Romero going back to trying to establish his jab, which seemed to be part of the plan in round number one. You heard his dad telling him between the second and third rounds that he ought to dispense with the looping right. Tapia lands a hard right-hand counter as the third round comes to a close and celebrates by leaping into the air.
Gonna bring the jab and move. In and out. Listen to that jab, double that jab.
By punch stat numbers, another huge round for Tapia.
That right hand left hook to the right hand of the body, left hook, and knock his ass out. Set him up for it with a 1-2. 1-2, pull out, then come back to the body, left hook.
He's going for your face now, too. He's scared. He's going for your face.
You look good, son. In and out, box this guy and have some fun.
We look good, not just me, us.
You own him, son.
Listen, we'll look forward to seeing you September 13 against Hector Macho Camacho.
I will be there, and I will be ready.
On TVKO. Tapia lands a left hook to the body. Crowd going wild. Romero seeming to try to get in closer in this round. Mitch Halpern pulls him apart to try to prevent any butting. Danny Romero attempts to close the space between himself and Johnny Tapia.
Yeah, that was a little holding that a lot of people couldn't see. Unnatural things going on, so don't make too much of that.
But with Romero stepping in closer, now that right hand looping across the top begins to land. In the first 3 rounds, Johnny Tapia landing power punches at twice the rate of Danny Romero. So Romero has got to close the gap and make his physical presence felt in the fight. Romero more than doubled Tapia on power shots in the 6th, and he starts the 6th with a right hand.
Off the canvas, come on, keep him up.
His glove hit the canvas, but Halpern's not going to rule it a knockdown. He warns him not to put his gloves on the canvas when he clowns. He could have ruled that a knockdown.
Believe me, in a way, it was a knockdown because that punch hurt Tapia. And he played around and touched his hand to the glove.
Harold, do you think that was a legal knockdown?
Jim, let me tell you something. He could have called it a knockdown. You were right. But it was obvious that Johnny Tapia was clowning. And Mitch Halpern, being the good referee he was, just warned him and said, quit fooling around. He didn't go down on the end of a punch. It's true that he touched it with the canvas, but...
That's good. A reasonable call by Halpern. And Danny Romero establishing power shots again in the first minute of round 7. So Tapia goes back to trying to counter.
Tapia was fighting a much better fight when he was counterpunching, not using too much of the ring. Now he's starting to use a lot of the ring, trying to be the aggressor, and he's being caught.
You got to start out tending to doubt a guy who's been trained his whole life by a police athletic league volunteer trainer. But Danny Romero has it all. Now here comes Tapia.
The one time that Danny Romero decided to stop, stand still, he started to pay for it.
Tapia came alive and brought the crowd with him.
Good right hand by Tapia.
His best punch in several rounds.
No matter what he does, Romero is right back into his face, up and down.
Tremendous discipline shown here by Danny Romero. It didn't go well for him in the early rounds, but he stuck to the task and began to chip away and find his opportunities.
Good overhand right and counter right.
I thought Johnny Tapia surged into the lead in rounds 8 and 9. I have Tapia ahead by a point.
I think it's either man's fight going down the stretch, George, don't you?
Yeah, Romero started to pull away, and then all of a sudden Tapia got a second win, and he started getting advice like, you're looking good. Play with him. This is what you want to tell a professional fighter. You want to give him too much advice. And once that corner started clicking like that, and you got a stiff jab, you can do anything you want.
Fascinating in the unpredictable life of Johnny Tapia. 3 weeks ago, he fired Jesse Reed. Tonight, Reed is the primary voice in his corner.
Hand and drill him with that uppercut on the right side.
Albuquerque, I'm your champion, Big Bear. Hi, love you.
Stay here, deep breath. Johnny, have fun with him. Have fun with him, son. Have fun with him.
I've never heard a corner tell a fighter to have fun. Do you think he means to clown with him, George?
No, they're trying to tell him in his own words, relax. You're the man out there. We believe in you. So go out there and do what you do and have some fun with it. That's the best advice you can give an experienced fighter, especially when you haven't been in training camp a long time with him.
Especially a guy who genuinely loves to fight, as Johnny Tapia does. It's been a marvelous demonstration of the trained skills of the two fighters.
I'm not sure that everybody interested in this fight understands trained skills.
This has been a dynamite fight.
It's been a terrific boxing match.
Oh, man.
Hard left hook to the body by Tapia. Crowd trying to lift their man. Danny Romero hanging in.
Oh, that was your left hook, kind of under like with. When you start getting close and not having to throw with energy, you got things in hand.
Tapia clowning a little bit, giving the crowd something to have fun with too.
Not only that, you're fighting a young boy. You got to do a lot of things in there to make him think something.
Romero has a round and a half. He may need to do something dramatic to pull this fight out, which means at least a knockdown. And he doesn't look like he can get it.
Don't count out the possibility of a Romero knockout late. He has twice in his career knocked out opponents in the 12th round. Now Tapia lands a left hook and a straight right hand, and Romero comes back with a counter left.
Blood from Romero's nose.
And you heard Harold Letterman say that blood on Romero was one reason he gave round 9 to Tapia.
Let him up, let him up, let him up. Don't punch, don't punch, don't punch.
A lot of blood coming out of Romero's left nostril. Tapia trying to give Romero a hug as he went back to his corner at the end of round 11. Romero did his best to ignore him. Crowd loves it.
Last round, last round.
Well, you don't clown on a man and
Keep
then
the hands up.
offer to hug him.
Keep the hands up.
One round. Don't get careless. You got it now. Don't get careless. Hey, I'll tell you. Hey, just trying to hang.
Hey, have some fun with him.
In 3 minutes, a decision can determine a winner here. But neither man is a loser tonight. They gave the world of boxing something to wait for, and they made it worth waiting for. Harold Letterman, your score through 11.
Jim, 107, 102, 8 rounds to 3. Johnny Tapia, I think he's boxing beautifully. He's putting on a clinic side to side, keeping Romero off balance with that left jab. He looks terrific with that jab. I'm telling you, he's beating him.
I have Tapia ahead in a much closer fight.
Tapia's charisma, not an inconsiderable factor down the stretch. And we controlled Valetic 12 rounds of his career.
Well, you remember, Jim, before the fight, I said he is an underrated boxer. He has boxing skills, but he tends to lose it during fights, and here he's maintained his poise and his control.
30 seconds left in the Battle of Albuquerque. All of New Mexico now rises to await the final decision.
Boy, I wouldn't want to be a judge of this fight.
A good round for Romero.
Tapia's trademark backflip. Let's wait and see what the scorecard said.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the decision of the judges at ringside. Judge Dr. Clark San Martino scores it 116-112. Judge Jerry Roth scores it 116-112. Judge Glenn Hamada scores it 115-113 to the IBF and WBO Junior Bantamweight Champion of the World, Johnny Tapia.
Larry,
thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Johnny. Congratulations, Johnny. You seem overcome. What does this mean to you?
First of all, don't stop me. Jesus Christ, he gets his victory, but I've overcome everything, and I give all the thanks to the Lord Jesus Christ.
What won the fight for you?
Style, different movements. I have a good team on my side. I just listened to our game plan and I did it.
Have you ever fought such a disciplined fight from start to finish? And did you think you needed that to beat Romero?
I just did a lot of good things today. I had power, strength, and air, and I refused to go down. I refused to lose, and whatever he hit me with, it was not going to hurt me.
I noticed after the fight, while you were hugging your wife Teresa, that you took a look over there to Danny Romero's corner. What were you thinking?
You know, everything's done and said, you know. Let bygones be bygones. Let me live my life. He lives his life.
He's a good fighter.
He's a great fighter, and he's still a champion in my heart because he held this title for a while.
Do you feel somehow purged of all of the hard feelings that had built up for so long?
We made it bigger than ever. And the best man won, and I kept it like that.
You said before the fight that... You said before the fight, Johnny, that you would be a free man after this fight. What did you mean by that?
I haven't been a free man since I've been 1 year old, man, and I've lost a lot of my life, and I struggled and fought to keep my dream alive. Me and my wife got a good game plan. I don't know what to say right now. I did what I had to do, and I did it successful.
Thank you very much for an outstanding fight, Johnny Tapia.
Tapia's defeat of Romero didn't ease any bad feelings between the two. Tapia said that he wanted to shake Romero's hand after the bout, but the fighter's father waved him away. Senior was an ass after the fight, Tapia said. I wanted to say, keep your head up. Tapia also refused a rematch and wanted Romero out of his life. Let me live my life and he lives his, Tapia said. Let bygones be bygones. His fame now extended beyond New Mexico. and even the sport of boxing itself, as there was talk of a movie deal. Signing with Don King, Tapia was promised even more lucrative paydays, but problems on the family front persisted. In a February 1998 article in the Albuquerque Tribune, his estrangement from his maternal grandparents, Miguel and Esther, was revealed. "I don't want nothing with Johnny no more," Miguel said. "My heart is too hurt. He hurt me and Grandma. He has a new family now." His grandparents and extended family believe that Johnny had forgotten his grandparents. "He turned away from me like I'm nothing," Miguel said. But Teresa wanted to move Johnny away from Albuquerque as the fighter made bad decisions while on those streets. Johnny himself cried after reading the story. Teresa said that their efforts to reach the grandparents were blocked by meddling aunts and uncles. "I've tried lots of times to call them, and they always hung up on me," Johnny said. "If I went to visit them, doors were slammed in my face." They remained estranged when officials reopened the murder case of Tapia's mother, Virginia, in 1999. A sometime boyfriend, Richard Espinoza, was identified as the killer. Espinoza was the custodian for the Albuquerque public school system and had been seeing Tapia's mother for over a year. He became angry at Virginia when he couldn't find his wallet and accused her of stealing his money. The primary suspect from the beginning, he was found with blood on his shoes and his wallet was found in Virginia's car. The evidence was turned over to the county DA's office, but there was no record of them ever receiving the case. Espinoza died in 1983 after being hit by a car. The revelation gave little comfort to Tapia. His boxing career saw continued success as he made 2 televised defenses before facing Paulie Ayala in June of 1999.
Tapia making the first defense in his WBA Bantamweight Championship. There it's talk he will move up to Super Bantamweight or Junior Featherweight after this, and possibly take on Nestor Garza, one of the champions. Good right hand by Tapia. He's starting to get that right hand in and throwing the hook, but every time he throws the hook to the body, Paulie Ayala very quick with his own counter right hook. Ayala going downstairs to the body. And then Tapia digging his hook. Tapia now standing in front of Ayala, and it is Paulie Ayala doing the work on the inside very well in this round.
Let's go. Clean round, guys.
Too much movement now from either man. Tapia. Turning into even more of a brawl than we would have expected. Both men looking to set down on their punches. Good left hand by Ayala. Tapia throwing the hook and leaving himself open, and Ayala getting there with that punch. And remember, Johnny Tapia stepping up in weight, so he's facing a bigger man, and he's used to only one fight as a bantamweight.
What there is inside?
Tapia slipped. That will not be a knockdown. But in the early going here, Paulie Ayala, especially in the second and third round, is dictating the pace of this fight. Cuts resulted. The left hook again downstairs by Tapia. When he gives Ayala some foot movement, he's much more effective, some lateral movement, and that's what they want from him. And see, now when he moves to his left, he's much more effective, and Ayala can't really land what he wants. What hasn't been evident is the double left hook from Tapia. He's been landing it to the body, but then not coming with it to the head. There's one left hook, see, but none following it to the head, which is usually a good weapon for him. Straight right hand gets in by Tapia. He's had a better fourth round, much better fourth round. Good hand speed by Ayala on the inside. And Tapia just kind of stands and looks.
Good right hand by Tapia. Better round for Johnny Tapia, especially toward the end, and there he lands yet another right hand. Left hook downstairs. Fighting the right form now against the lefty, but Ayala also doing good work on the inside and throwing the uppercut they want. Big hooks by Tapia. It's a war here in round 5. We haven't seen Tapia this flat-footed in a long time. He is staying in the trenches with Paulie Ayala and ripping body shots. Those will have an effect as this fight goes on. Those are huge left hooks by Tapia downstairs. Huge left hooks. And they are slowing Paulie Ayala down, I believe. For Johnny Tapia, he has controlled this. He is ripping big shots to the body. He is getting in his rhythm. Now here comes Ayala with some good jabs and good combinations. Good right hook by Ayala. Big hook by Tapia, the left hook. With under a minute left to go here in round 5. Excellent bantamweight matchup. This is a superb fight by any standard.
Come on, work on it.
Hand speed and combinations from both men. Tapia with a big right hand, pushing Ayala back, and double left hooks again. Big hook downstairs again by Tapia, but Ayala comes with the uppercut. Both men doing what they need to do and doing it well. Good. Every time Tapia switches to southpaw, he does well. And he did it again there. There's a lot of hand speed being exhibited in that ring. Johnny Tapia at age 32 is really an interesting case study as a boxer. He just keeps getting better. And he's the only guy I ever have seen in my life who had 4 years off from the ring doing terribly abusive things to himself, came back as a better fighter than he was when he left the sport. And I mean a measurably better fighter. Tapia is controlling the pace now. He's moving to his left better. He's getting the hooks in, the combinations, the right hands. Ayala working on the inside. Both men doing a lot of body work. And now when Tapia throws that left hook to the body, he's bringing it back up to the head quicker, and Ayala's not able to land the right hook as he likes. It's straight left hand by Paulie Ayala. And there's Tapia. He is so effective as a lefty. He might want to stay in that posture longer. He's confusing Ayala with that stance and getting the job done. And his speed is now having an impact on Ayala. Good work on the inside, though, by Paulie Ayala. What a great fight. Now there's Tapia moving to his left to cut Ayala off, which is the right move. Ayala working well on the inside. Good right by Tapia. And a jab. One speed of Tapia. Each man takes turns landing good combinations. And again, the speed of Tapia stands him in good stead as Ayala has to chase him. First one man, then the other with combinations. Good hook by Ayala. And a good left hand ends the round. A very good combinations by Tapia.
Come on, guys, watch them heads, man. Watch them heads.
A hook gets in again by Tapia. They are both throwing big punches and good punches. Good combination by Tapia, and then a jab. If there are any better bantamweights out there than these two guys, I will be shocked. You are looking at the two best bantamweights in the world right there. Both men, in addition to the work they're doing to the head, are going to the body a lot. Under a minute left to go here in round 8. A bit more. But like the others, it's been close. Right hand gets in by Tapia. Pushes Ayala back. Good hook by Tapia. And Ayala comes back with a 1-2 combination. And now Tapia tries to rev up the crowd, but Ayala responds with his own and by punching. But the last thing Paulie Ayala wants is to get into that kind of thing with Johnny Tapia. And Tapia has not moved to lefty yet in this round, where he was so effective early with foot movement by Johnny. The double left hook by Tapia. That's what he wants to do. Excellent job being done by Joe Cortez, breaking the fighters when he needs to, but not when he doesn't have to. Toward the end of this round, Tapia is starting to come on, with under a minute left to go here in round 9. Good left hand by Ayala. Tapia hit with the right hand, but when he switched from lefty to righty. Good hook, but Paulie Ayala comes back in what is a good round 9 for him. Knocked off balance by a left hook, but not hurt. And he comes back, and they end the round slugging. Tapia slips down. Joe Cortez is doing a masterful job of refereeing this fight, gets in between the two quickly. Left hook by Tapia. Well, Paulie Ayala had himself an excellent 9th round. Good combinations by Tapia. Those were good hard punches. Some of the best he's thrown in this fight. A couple of those were blocked, but a couple got through. Boy, Johnny Tapia is setting down on that right hand now. And Ayala coming back with his own uppercut and hooks. When Tapia leads off with the jab, he's more effective. He's been ignoring that punch. Both men landing big punches. This has turned into a war. Ayala with the right hand downstairs. Tapia with his own left hook to the body. This is one of the best bantamweight championship fights in recent memory. Good combination by Paulie Ayala. Good hook again by Tapia. And a big right hand by Tapia, but Ayala comes back with a counterpunch. It has been so throughout this fight. Just when you think one man has a big advantage, the other will come back. Round 11, a pivotal round, and might be a Johnny Tapia round. He has been, I think, a better ring tactician in this bout and landed more punches. And every round so important. Now good left hands by Ayala though. Round. Emotion from Freddie Roach in the corner that we don't always see from him. The crowd shows its appreciation. And let's see if Tapia is as aggressive as they want him to be. Good hook by Tapia starts off this round. Ayala with a good combination. Good combos inside by Paulie. Tapia staying on the inside now. Good double right hooks by Ayala and uppercuts. Paulie Ayala ripping those shots in the inside. Gains the early advantage in this round. Good hook again by Tapia. Tapia rips shots, and then as a lefty, gets the straight left hand in. Jab and a straight right by Tapia. Both men, look at all they have left here in the 12th round. Throws by Ayala, or by Tapia as Ayala came in. Good right hand and a hook by Tapia. Beautiful, oh, nice left hook. May have hurt Ayala momentarily, and a good right by Tapia. This is a war here in the 12th round. A minute left to go. Both men are landing big shots. Wow. This is as good as it gets. Tapia ripping a left hook to the body. Paulie Ayala on rubber legs. Who wouldn't be tired right now? Both men are throwing everything. This is one of the best lower weight fights I have ever seen. Big hook. Here comes Ayala. Right hand by Tapia. Another right hand. Only 14 seconds left to go. They are leaving it all right here. Big right by Tapia. The crowd will let you know what they think of this fight. It was one of the great bantamweight fights in ages. Paulie Ayala falls to the mat.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we do have a unanimous decision as the judges agree. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Guy Jutra, scores the bout 115 to 114. Judges Dwayne Ford and Fernando Viso both score the bout 116 to 113. All three in favor of the winner and the new WBA bantamweight champion of the world, Paulie Ayala.
Paulie Ayala pulled the upset in one of the most superb bantamweight championship matches you will ever see. Johnny Tapia is not happy about it. I don't know about
The loss was disputed, but age began to erode Tapia's skills. He lost another decision to Ayala in October of 2000. That same year, he was hospitalized for depression and diagnosed as bipolar. People don't understand this about fighters, Tapia said. Once a fight is over, it's the biggest crash of all crashes. The depression just comes, like a freight train. He turned to religion, becoming a born-again Christian. I don't talk about my religion much, Tapia said. I don't want to be a hypocrite with the life I had.
Believing in God is my inner strength. And having the people surrounded by me love me as a person, as a friend, not as a champion. That's the number one key. My wife, my brother, my family. Compared to everything else. I mean, I could put 18,000 people in the stadium. They'll say, Johnny, Johnny, Johnny all night. Love you, this and that. But when I get home, I'm urinating blood. I have people that take care of me and really provide me and give me what I need. That's something I got to get strong with in my life right now. It's almost over.
It's almost over?
Yeah, well, the boxing, you know. I want to be able to know what I'm doing today. Because if I do something stupid, I tell my wife, tell me to quit. I want to be one of the fighters to have something, be able to talk, to walk, to continue being successful in life.
But cocaine remained the opponent he could never beat. By 2001, he was considering suicide. In the ring, he labored to a disputed win over Manuel Medina to win the IBF featherweight title, but lost to Marco Antonio Barrera 7 months later in a one-sided affair. In 2003, Tapia spent several days on life support in a Las Vegas hospital after suffering from head trauma. The 9/11 call included references to possible overdose, painkillers, and suicide. Tapia recovered and returned to the ring 8 months later, but was now an empty shell of his former self, losing to fighters that he would have once toyed with in his prime, getting stopped for the first time in his career in 2005. In 2007, the now 40-year-old Tapia squeaked by to decision a club fighter with a 14-9 record, only to slip away from Teresa and overdose once again. In the next 2 years, there were promises to see a new Tapia, a comeback with a new trainer and new promoter. negotiations were once again underway for a major feature film on his life. But in 2009, Tapia found himself back in jail for drug possession, serving a 1-year sentence. In 2010, he returned to the ring after a 3-year hiatus, winning 3 times before hanging up his gloves for good. He then turned to training fighters and focusing on raising the children that he and Teresa adopted.
I've done it all. I've done it all. Am I excited about it? Am I happy about it? Am I delighted about it? No. But it was a learning experience. And if there's 100 kids, I can get one to listen. I've done my job. But it's not about being rich. It's not about having fame, and it's not about having glory. I have all that. It's about knowing the first time was a mistake, second time was a habit for me. And I'm speaking for myself. I'm not a preacher, and I'm not a teacher. And I'm not out to go and tell people don't do this, don't do that. Because I don't want to follow my face either. I have problems today.
Do you get scared a lot?
Every day. When I wake up. When I go out. I get a little time, I go do this, I go do that. I'm scared. Am I going to go do that? Who knows? I can't control my emotions. I wish I was stronger inside. It's hard. When you have a lot of tragedy in your life, it's hard to look for the good.
On May 27, 2012, Tapia was found dead in his home on the 37th anniversary of his mother's death. An autopsy revealed that he died from heart disease. Everyone wanted a happily ever after for Johnny Tapia, columnist Bill Knight wrote. But perhaps he has finally rejoined his beloved mother. Perhaps his soul is finally at peace. The beauty will be there forever and a day.
I wake up every morning and I look out and the sun's up and people are going on with their life and I feel like my whole world has stopped, and I just don't understand how someone could be wiped out of your life but everything goes on.
Over 7,000 fans gathered at the pit in Albuquerque to mourn his passing. Johnny remained a polarizing figure. While some mourned his loss deeply, others questioned whether he should be admired. Nevertheless, Tapia always accepted responsibility for his addictions until his dying breath. "It was me," Johnny said. "It was always me."